My girlfriend said, "From now on, I'll meet when I want. Don't pressure me." I just nodded. 4 weeks later, she was standing outside my house crying, holding something that left me completely stunned. I asked, "What is this?" She stayed silent, revealing the biggest secret of my life. I'm 31, and until 5 weeks ago, I was in what I thought was a pretty standard relationship. Her name was Jessica. We'd been together for about 2 years, met through a dating app, had the usual ups and downs. Nothing extraordinary but comfortable. We didn't live together. She had her apartment across town, I had my place, but we'd see each other regularly, or at least we used to. About 2 months ago, things started changing. Jessica became distant. She'd cancel plans last minute, take hours to respond to texts, always had some excuse about work or being tired or needing alone time. When we did see each other, she seemed distracted, like her mind was somewhere else. I tried talking to her about it, asked if everything was okay, if I'd done something wrong. She'd brush it off, say she was just stressed, that I was overthinking things. Then came the conversation that basically ended us. It was a Tuesday evening around 7 p.m. We were supposed to have dinner at my place. I'd made reservations at this Italian restaurant she'd been wanting to try, figured maybe a nice evening out would help reconnect us. She showed up 30 minutes late, didn't apologize, just walked in and sat on my couch with her arms crossed. "We need to talk," she said before I could even greet her properly. My stomach sank. "Okay, what's going on?" "I've been thinking a lot about us, about what I need, and I think I need more space." "Space? Like, you want to see each other less?" "I want to see each other when I feel like it. Not on some schedule. Not because you're expecting me to show up. I need to feel free to do my own thing without you constantly checking in on me." "I don't constantly check in. You text me every day. You want to make plans every weekend. It's suffocating." I stared at her. "Jessica, that's called being in a relationship. People communicate. They make plans together." "Well, I don't want that right now. From now on, I'll meet when I want. Don't pressure me." "So what am I supposed to do? Just sit around waiting for you to decide you want to see me? If you can't handle that, maybe we shouldn't be together." It felt like a slap. She was basically giving me an ultimatum: accept her terms or walk away. Part of me wanted to argue, to tell her this was ridiculous, but another part of me, the part that still had some self-respect, just felt tired. "Okay," I said quietly. "If that's what you need, fine." She looked surprised, like she'd expected me to fight harder. "Really?" "Yeah. Do what you need to do." She stood up, grabbed her purse. "I'm glad you understand. I'll text you when I'm ready to hang out." And she left. Just like that. No kiss goodbye, no affection, nothing. Update 1. The first week after that conversation was strange. Jessica didn't text me at all, not once. I kept my phone nearby, half expecting her to reach out, but nothing. I didn't text her either. She'd made her boundaries clear, and I wasn't about to be the guy who couldn't respect them. By the second week, I started wondering if we were even still together. I asked a friend, Mark, what he thought. "Dude, she basically broke up with you without saying the words," he said over beers one Friday night. "Maybe she just needs time." "Time for what? To see if something better comes along?" "Come on, man. You know what this is." Deep down, I did know, but I didn't want to admit it. So I waited. Week 3, still nothing. I'd stopped checking my phone constantly, stopped hoping for a text. I started going out more, hanging with friends, picking up hobbies I'd neglected. It felt good, like I was rediscovering myself. Then, on day 28, exactly 4 weeks after our last conversation, I heard a knock on my door at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened it to find Jessica standing there, crying, mascara running down her face, holding a manila envelope in her shaking hands. "Jessica? What?" "I need to talk to you," She sobbed. "Please, can I come in?" I stepped aside, let her in. She collapsed onto my couch, still clutching that envelope, crying so hard she could barely breathe. "What's going on?" I asked, sitting down next to her but keeping some distance. She thrust the envelope at me. "You need to see this." "What is this?" She didn't answer, just kept crying, shaking her head. I opened the envelope. Inside were several printed documents, medical reports, DNA test results, and a birth certificate with my name on it. My hands started shaking. "Jessica, what the hell is this?" She finally looked at me, eyes red and swollen. "You have a daughter." "She's 7 years old. Her name is Emma." The room tilted. "What?" "Before we met. Before I even knew you existed. I had a one-night stand 8 years ago. Got pregnant. I never told the father because I didn't even know his full name. I raised Emma on my own. My parents helped, and I never planned to tell you." "Why are you telling me now?" "Because Emma's sick. She needs a bone marrow transplant. I've been tested. My parents have been tested. We're not matches. The doctors said we need to find biological relatives. So I started looking for Emma's father. My brain couldn't process this fast enough." "And you found him?" "Yes, 2 weeks ago. I tracked him down through the bar where we met, found him on social media, reached out. He got tested." She paused, fresh tears streaming. "He's not her father." "What?" "The DNA test came back negative. He's not Emma's biological father, which means—" She looked at me, and I saw something in her expression that made my blood run cold. "No," I said. "No, that's impossible. We only met 2 years ago." That's what I thought too. But then I started thinking about the timeline, about where I was 8 years ago, and I remembered something. She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo. It was a group picture from what looked like a college party, and there, in the background, barely visible, was me. Younger, different haircut, but definitely me. This was taken at a fraternity party. April 2016. You were there. I stared at the photo. I did remember that party. I'd gone with some friends, got drunk, barely remembered anything from that night. "Jessica, We hooked up that night, in one of the back rooms. I was drunk. You were drunk. We didn't exchange numbers, didn't even exchange last names. I left before you woke up. That's impossible. I would remember." "You were blackout drunk. So was I. I barely remembered it myself until I saw your face 2 years ago and something felt familiar. But I convinced myself it was just coincidence, that you just looked like someone I'd met once. I never made the connection until now." She handed me the DNA results. "I had Emma tested against a sample of your hair I took from your bathroom last month. That's why I was being distant. I was waiting for the results." I looked at the paper. 99.9% probability of paternity. I had a daughter, a 7-year-old daughter I never knew existed, and she was sick. Update 2. I couldn't speak, couldn't move, just sat there staring at those documents, my entire world rewriting itself in real time. "Say something," Jessica whispered. "I need to see her." "What?" "Emma. I need to see my daughter." Jessica nodded, wiping her eyes. "Okay, but first, you need to understand something. She doesn't know about you. I told her that her father wasn't in the picture, that it was just us. I didn't want to lie to her, but I also didn't want to hurt her with the truth that I didn't know who he was. And now? Now I have to tell her, because she needs you. She needs your bone marrow." The next day, Jessica brought Emma to a park near my house. I sat on a bench, watching this little girl with curly brown hair, my hair, run around on the playground, completely unaware that her entire life was about to change. "That's her," Jessica said quietly. Emma looked healthy, energetic. Nothing about her suggested she was seriously ill. but Jessica explained that she had a rare blood disorder, that without a transplant, she had maybe a year, maybe less. We decided to tell Emma together that evening. Jessica had prepared her somewhat, told her that they'd found her daddy, that he was a good person who wanted to meet her. Emma was curious but cautious, like any 7-year-old would be. When I walked into Jessica's apartment that night and saw Emma sitting on the couch in her pajamas, something inside me shifted. This was real. This was my child. "Hi," I said, sitting down across from her. "Hi," she said back, small voice uncertain. I'm your dad." She looked at Jessica, then back at me. "Really? Really? Where have you been?" God, that question. How do you explain to a child that you didn't know she existed? That her entire life you'd been living yours completely unaware that you'd created another human being? "I didn't know about you," I said honestly. "Your mom and I met a long time ago, before you were born, but we didn't stay in touch. I didn't know she was going to have you. If I had known, I would have been there from the beginning." Emma processed this for a moment. Then, "Are you going to leave again?" "No, I'm not going anywhere." Update 3. The next few weeks were a blur. I got tested immediately. The results took 5 days. 5 days where I barely slept, barely functioned, just waited. When the call came that I was a match, I actually cried. Relief, gratitude, fear, all mixed together. The transplant was scheduled for 3 weeks out. In the meantime, I spent as much time as possible with Emma. We'd go to parks, watch movies, talk about her favorite things, unicorns apparently, and dinosaurs, and a show about magical cats that I'd never heard of but quickly became an expert on. She was smart, funny, shy at first, but warming up to me quickly. And every time she smiled, I saw myself. Every time she laughed, I heard echoes of my own childhood. Jessica and I had to figure out our relationship during all this. Were we together? Were we co-parents? What were we? One night, after putting Emma to bed, Jessica and I sat on her couch with tea, finally able to talk. "I'm sorry," she said, "for not figuring this out sooner. For wasting 2 years where you could have known her. You didn't know either. I should have. When I first saw you 2 years ago, I should have made the connection. But I convinced myself it was impossible, that the universe wouldn't be that cruel or that kind, depending on how you look at it. Why did you ask for space? Why did you pull away from me? Because I was waiting for those DNA results. And I was terrified. Terrified that you were Emma's father and I'd have to tell you. Terrified that you weren't and I'd have to keep searching. Terrified of what this would mean for all of us. You should have told me what was going on." I know. I was a coward. We sat in silence for a while. Then I asked the question I'd been avoiding. "Do you want to be together? Like, actually together?" She looked at me. "I don't know. Do you want that?" "I don't know either. A month ago, I thought we were done. Now we have a child together, and I'm about to give her my bone marrow, and everything is completely insane." "Yeah, it is. Maybe we just focus on Emma for now. Figure out the rest later." She nodded. "Okay, final update. The transplant happened 4 weeks ago. It went well. Emma's recovering, slowly but surely. The doctors are optimistic, saying she's responding better than expected. She has a long road ahead, but she's going to be okay. I'm her father, legally now too. Jessica and I worked with lawyers to establish paternity, set up custody arrangements. I'm on her birth certificate. I'm part of her medical decisions. I'm her dad. Jessica and I aren't together. We tried for a couple of weeks after the transplant, tried to see if we could make a relationship work for Emma's sake, but we both realized pretty quickly that we're better as co-parents than as partners. We don't have that spark, that connection. We never really did. We were just two people who found each other twice by accident, and the second time stuck because we had a reason to. I see Emma 3 times a week now. Weekends, she stays with me. We're building our relationship slowly, carefully. She calls me Dad now, not hesitantly like she did at first, but naturally. Like it's always been that way. My family knows. They're thrilled to have a granddaughter, a niece, a cousin. They've welcomed Emma with open arms. Jessica's family has been gracious about sharing her with us, understanding that Emma needs both sides. I think about that night a lot. That party 8 years ago where I was too drunk to remember anything. How one night, one choice, one moment created an entire human being who I didn't know about for 7 years. How I almost never knew. How if Emma hadn't gotten sick, I might have gone my whole life without knowing I had a daughter. People have asked me if I'm angry at Jessica for not figuring it out sooner. I'm not. How could she have known? We didn't exchange last names, didn't take photos together. It was a one-night stand at a college party. Those things happen every day. Most of them don't result in children, and when they do, sometimes the other person never finds out. I'm not angry. I'm just grateful. Grateful that Emma got sick, as terrible as that sounds, because it led me to her. Grateful that Jessica tracked down every lead until she found me. Grateful that I'm a match. Grateful that I get to be her dad. This wasn't how I imagined becoming a father, but here we are, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Edit. A lot of people are asking about child support for the past 7 years. Jessica and I discussed this with lawyers. We agreed that since I genuinely had no knowledge of Emma's existence, I wouldn't be retroactively responsible. I am, however, contributing significantly to her current and future expenses, including setting up a college fund and covering half of all her medical bills moving forward. Edit 2. For those wondering if Jessica and I will ever get back together, probably not. We've talked about it, and we both agree that we work better as friends and co-parents than as romantic partners. We're focused on giving Emma stability and love, and that doesn't require us to be a couple.